Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and today we have Bonnie's Mystery Crochet Along square number 2. And before I show that to you, if you are finding me for the first time and haven't seen video number 1, don't worry, because with this particular crochet along, it is square based and you can start at any point in this crochet along. You can start at any week you would like, and you can always go back to the previous weeks and take a look at those squares so that you can learn how to make them. Okay, squares, throws, you know they go together, right? Well, let me go ahead and show you the second square. Okay, this is actually introducing a new cable that I have not done before. It's kind of a wavy cable, or it is a wavy cable. And I'm real excited to share this one with you. And let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what you're going to need. And for this square, I'm going to be using Paint Box Yarns Simply Aran, as I am going to be using for all my squares. And this is 100% acrylic, 201 yards per ball, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. This is color number 243, should you be interested in obtaining more like this color. And the crochet hook I'm going to be using is an I or 9 or 5.50 millimeter. And as recommended in the first video as well, I recommend that you have a yarn needle for hiding loose ends and a pair of sharp scissors. And I'm also, as an option, I recommend that you have some stitch markers, and I am using the removable style of stitch markers so that we work the perimeter round. You'll see what we do with these later on. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. To begin, we're going to make a slip knot, and then we're going to chain a total of 50 chains. For row 1, we are going to start in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work a double crochet in each stitch across. And as you can see, as I mentioned in the first video, I am crocheting on just one side of the V. If you look at the chain here, the sides of the chain look like a V. And I'm only crocheting on one side of them instead of using the back bump, and that's because we're going to be working a perimeter around, and which will cover the remaining part of this chain, and I believe that would be the easiest way to do that. Okay, so go ahead and finish those double crochets in each chain all the way across the row. After working row 1, you should have a total of 47 double crochets plus the chain 3 at the end. Okay, now we're going to chain 2 and turn, and we're going to skip the first stitch, and we're going to work a front post double crochet over the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to work a half double in the next stitch. And as you work across these rows, be careful, especially establishing this first foundation row, that we're not skipping stitches or using stitches twice. Okay, so now we're going to work 3 front post double crochets, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. And this is to begin setting up the foundation for the wavy cable. And then half double in that next stitch, working through the top loops, and then 3 more front post double crochets, and then a half double in the next stitch. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way across the row. I will do this row with you all the way across, but just to show you where we're headed, we're going to have 2 post stitches, a half double, and then a set 3 half double, and then 3 on the 3 front post double crochets, and everything is going to be separated by a half double crochet work through the tops. So now we're going to repeat that. We're going to work 2 front post double crochets, half double in the top loops, and then we work the cable foundation, which is 3 front post double crochets, a half double worked in the top loops, and 3 more front post double crochets. And in case you've never seen a post stitch, it's the same as working a regular stitch. We're just taking our hook around the body of the stitch and giving it a belt, and then a half double. Let's pause just to see what we have here. So we have the 2 front posts, which again are going to be like separator, they're going to be columns, then the cable, then the columns, the cable. And now it's time to repeat that once again. There we go. We're going to work 2 front post double crochets, a half double, and then we work the cable foundation, which would be 3 front post double crochets, followed by that half double, and then 3 more front post double crochets, followed by that half double worked in the top loops. Let's just pause. Okay, so now we're ready to repeat that again. 2 front post double crochets, another half double, and then the foundation for the cable, which is going to be 3 front post double crochets. Let's get some more yarn here. Half double in that next stitch, and then 3 more. And you see we are getting near the end here. Okay, and then we're going to end this with a half double and 2 front post double crochets, kind of like divider lines. And we're going to do a half double worked in that turning chain. Let's stop and take a look at what we have, and I'll go over this with you. So we have 2, and all of this is separated by these half doubles here. So we have 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 3, and 3, and then 2. And so what we have is the beginning of 4, or the foundation of 4 cables. So let's go ahead and chain 2, 1, 2, and now working with the back side facing, this will be row number 3. We're going to again skip that first half double crochet, since we're going to be working one in the turning chain at the end, and we're going to do back post double crochet. So that we have 2 back post double crochet, followed by a half double in that half double. And then you're just going to work across just the way we did. If it's a post stitch, you work a back post double crochet over that stitch, and it's easy to feel whether it is or not using the nerve endings in your fingers and thumb. Okay, then we have a half double, and then we're going to do 3 more back post double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then a half double. And let's go ahead and we're going to pause and take a look at what we just did. And this is what we're going to be repeating all the way across. We're going to go 2 back post, then a half double, 3 back post, half double, 3 back post, half double. So go ahead and repeat that until you get to the last 3 stitches. After working this all the way across the row, you should have 2 post stitches left. So go ahead and work 2 back post double crochets, and then in the turning chain we're going to work a half double crochet. So let's turn and see what we should have. This is at the end of 3 rows. Okay, now we're ready to cross the cables and things will come a little more clear, I hope. We're going to chain 2, And again, we're going to skip that first stitch, and we're going to work 2 front post double crochets. And whenever you work over these particular stitches, you are just going to continue working post stitches. Work a half double in that half double. Now we're going to cross the cables. We're going to skip the first 3 stitches and work a half double in the top of that half double. Now we're going to wrap our hook twice so we can prepare for a front post treble. You're only going to use treble crochets when you cross the cables. So we're going to work front post trebles in each of those next 3 stitches. Okay, so I'll take this a little more slowly. Half double in the half double, and then the 3 front post trebles. Now we're going to keep this on the surface of the cable. So in order to do that, we're going to work behind those last 4 stitches, come into the hole here, and we're going to work front post trebles here, here, and then here. I'm going to use my fingers to locate that first stitch, and then if you put your thumb up into that hole, it helps you to maintain control of that. And we work that first front post treble. Let's do that again. Coming into that hole, grab the next stitch, which is the second stitch, and work that treble. And then coming into the hole for the 3rd time, finding that 3rd stitch, locate it with your fingers, and there you go. This is probably the most complex maneuver of this particular square, and I promise it feels a little awkward at first, but it will become more comfortable as you repeat it with me. Okay, so now we're going to work a half double crochet in the next stitch. Let's just pause and take a look at how that looks. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to move on. We're going to work front post doubles. Okay, double crochets, not trebles, on these 2 post stitches, half double and that half double. And now it's time to cross the cable again. Skip the next 3 stitches, half double in that next stitch, and then front post treble crochet over the next 3 stitches. After working those 3 front post treble crochets, we're going to work behind those last 4 stitches coming into that hole, and we're going to work the front post trebles here, here, and then here on those 3 post stitches. So again, using my fingers, I locate the first one to work in and work a front post treble. It helps to stick your finger up through this hole in order to get that hook around the stitch. I know it feels like calisthenics in some ways, but it does become easier as you practice this a few times, just like anything else. Okay, and then a half double and that next half double. So let's go ahead and take a look. So now we have 2 of those cables crossed. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue that across the row. But let me go ahead and work this with you just to give you, a chance to look at this again, because I know this can be a little bit tricky, especially if this is your first time working these stitches. Okay, half double, and that half double. Skip the next 3 stitches, half double in that next stitch, front post treble in the next 3. See, once we complete this row, then it will be a very visual pattern and you'll know what to do. Okay, working behind the last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches we skipped by coming into that back hole and locating each of those post stitches using those nerve endings. Again, I have to keep emphasizing that because that's the best way to understand and to feel what you are doing. And that 3rd one, the hole starts to close up a bit. And that's the 3rd stitch. And do make sure that you have 3 posts there. Half double in that next stitch, and then front post double crochet in the next 2 stitches, half double in that next half double, and again crossing the last cable, skip the next 3, half double crochet in the tops of that next half double, front post treble in the next 3 stitches, and then after we do that, working behind those last 4 stitches, we're going to come into this hole and we're going to front post treble in those 3 stitches that we just skipped, and grab that second stitch and the 3rd stitch. Let's grab some more yarn here, which is right there. And then half double worked into the tops, and then front post double crochets in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to work a half double crochet in that last stitch. So this is what you should have at the end of row 4. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those cables crossed. Okay, now for row 5, I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, again skipping that first stitch. We always go right for the next one when we're working post stitches. We're going to work 2 back post double crochets, and I'm just going to show you part of this row because once I show you just part of it, I think you'll understand. And then half double crochet in the next half double. Now working the back post double crochets, we're going to work them straight across, but there is one slight variation. Okay, we're going to work 3 back post double crochets. Now notice there's no half double because we crossed those cables. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a half double in the center where the cables cross. It's in between the last stitch and the next stitch, and you see the next 3 right here. We're going to work those back post double crochets. 1, 2, wasn't sure it wanted to come through there, and 3. And so after we work those 3 post stitches, then we're going to work a half double in that next half double. But before I do that, let me explain something here. We're actually skipping, you don't see it, but there is an additional half double crochet that we're not working in, and so we're just going to work in the next half double that we see. You're going to have to just trust my word that the stitch count does remain the same as we do this across. Okay, so now we're going to work 2 back post double crochets, half double in that next half double crochet, and then I'll show you this to you one more time before completing the row. 3 back post double crochets, and where the cables cross, this is where they cross on the last row. Make a half double crochet in between that last stitch and the next stitch. It's not directly into a stitch, it's between stitches. And then 3 more back post double crochets. And actually then we have half double crochet in the next stitch, and then we're just going to repeat that again. So go ahead and repeat that across the row, and then you're going to end by working the 2 back post double crochets. So go ahead and finish that, and I'll show you the last stitch. This row ends by working a half double crochet in that turning chain. Now let's turn and take a look at what our square should look like at this point. All right, so now the next 2 rows, or actually the next row, is going to be rather straightforward. We have already done it. It's actually a repeat of row number 2. But I will go ahead and lead you through this. We're going to work 2 front post double crochets, half double in that half double, and now you get to the cable. You see that there really is a cable here. So we work 3 front post double crochets, a half double worked in the half double. Make sure you don't skip that. It may be hiding a little bit behind the cable crossing, but make sure that you go ahead and work that stitch, and then 3 more front post. These are definitely front post double crochets, and then we're going to follow that with a half double, and then 2 more front post double crochets, and then a half double. And let me show you, this is going to be the repeat across the row. So from this point we're going to do the 3 front post double crochets, a half double, 3 front post double crochets, and that's over those cables, half double, 2 front post doubles, and then a half double. So go ahead and work that all the way the rest of the way across the row. Row 6 ends with a half double crochet in the chain 3 turning chain. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have after 6 rows. All right, for row 7, we're going to turn, chain 2, and we're going to do pretty much the same thing except using back post double crochets. So we're going to work 2 back post double crochets, half double crochet every time you see a half double, 3 more back post double crochets as we work across this cable, half double in the half double in the center of the cable, and let's get that off the yarn, and 3 more back post double crochets, and then a half double in the half double. And again, let's just do 2 back post double crochets. And I'm going to try to work this knot into the back. Okay, that should stay there. And the half double. So as we're going to work across this row, we're going to be working 3 back post doubles, half double, 3 back post, half double, 2 back post, and then a half double. So we're just, let me show you from the other side, we're just following the same pattern that we did with row the one before this, row 6, and we're just working in those post stitches with back post doubles and half double in each half double. So go ahead and work that all the way across. Row 7 also ends by working a half double crochet in that turning chain, and let's turn to see what we have. And now we have worked 7 rows. It's time to cross the cables again, and we're going to cross them in a different way than what we did at the end or during row 4. We're going to chain 2. This again is row 8. We're going to front post double crochet in those first 2 stitches, and then we're going to half double in that next stitch. Now to cross these cables again, we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, half double in that half double crochet, front post treble in the next 3 stitches, now working in front of these last 4 stitches. This is easier than what we did coming in the back window. We're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches that we skipped. And after I do this, I'll show you just how easy this will be to just give a visual check. Okay, and then we're going to half double in that next half double. Okay, let's take a pause. So you can see where we've crossed the cables here, but we've crossed them again over here. So we're keeping this strand or this column on top throughout as we cross them. kind of creating more of a wave type cable. All right, so now I'll do that again. We're going to front post double in the next 2 stitches, and this again is going to be the repeat across the row. Half double in that next half double. When you come to the cable, skip the next 3, half double in that half double, front post treble crochet in the next 3 stitches, now working in front of the last 4, that would be the half double in the 3 post stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches that we just skipped. And you can see it's a lot easier crossing in front than from behind, but by alternating them, I think you end up with beautiful cable work. All right, and then a half double crochet in that next stitch. So that's going to be your repeat all the way across the row, and as the other rows have ended, we're going to work at the half double, 2 front post double crochets, and don't forget the half double in that turning chain. So go ahead and work that across row number 8. And this is what you should have after completing row number 8. Do a quick visual check to make sure that all the cables are crossed in the same manner. Okay, that's very important. All right, so now we're going to do row 9, which is pretty much the same as row number 5. We're going to start off with 2 back post double crochets, followed by a half double crochet, and then working in back post double crochets, work 3 back post double crochets, and just like we did before when the cable was crossed, in between the last stitch and the next stitch, and this is where the cable was crossed, work a half double crochet, and then 3 more back post double crochets, now this is what I couldn't show you at the end or during row 5 because it was well hidden in the cabling, but here is the half double crochet that we worked in the row where we were forming the crossing of the cables. And so we're going to skip this half double crochet, and mathematically that cancels with this one being added in. So all that to say again that the stitch count does remain constant. It doesn't increase or decrease by doing this, but I'm just showing you how these two mathematically cancel out, and we half double in the next half double crochet, and then we just continue that again, back post in the next 2 stitches, and continue that on. So go ahead and continue that on across row number 9. This is what you should have after completing row number 9. Now I have an assignment for you. We are going to work rows 2 through 9 2 more times, and then repeat row 2 once again. So again, repeat row 2 through 9 2 times, and then row 2 one more time. I'll put a little time mark across the bottom so that you can go back into that time mark at the video should you need additional stitch support to watch those rows again. So I'm going to go ahead and finish those rows, and then I'll show you what I have. So this is what I have after working those extra rows, and notice just how this looks. Now if I fold it from corner to corner, it should make a perfect or a near perfect triangle. That's one way to tell whether your square is square or not. All right, so now we are going to work the perimeter round with the same color, and what I'm going to do first is I am going to fold this in half so that I can place my stitch markers in a good way. So if I find the center by just simply folding, it doesn't have to be, you know, total perfection here, but we're looking for just a good, you know, a good guess here. And I'm going to fold the top to where I put the stitch marker, and as you can see, I am dividing this just like I did in the first video for the first square. But in case you are coming to this video as the first one, which is absolutely fine to do, I'm just showing this to you again. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of generally eyeball this. Okay, so from there to there, and that looks about right. And the little removable stitch markers are very helpful. So if you don't have these, even earrings or extra contrasting color strands of yarn will also work. Again, this is just an option to help you with what we're going to do next. So now I've turned my square 90 degrees. I'm going to chain one. This is not a turning chain per se, because we're going to add another one of those in, but just to help us work along the side of these stitches. So what we're going to do is in between where I start here at the first stitch to the stitch marker, I'm going to try to work in 10 stitches evenly. So again, 40 stitches evenly along the side, and I've just divided into fourths so that I can work 10 stitches into the space. So I'll just do the first 10 for you. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That worked out pretty evenly. And so I'm going to do this all the way across, working 10 stitches evenly across the row. It's not going to be necessarily a 1-to-1 or 2-to-2 ratio with the row ends. That's why I'm using the stitch markers. But go ahead and work those 40 stitches evenly across the side of the square. When I get to each corner, I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to turn 90 degrees and work another single crochet in that same space to make a corner. And then I'm going to continue with my stitch markers, marking the center and then into fourths, so that I can work those 40 stitches across each side evenly. Again, don't forget the single crochet, chain 2 single crochet for each corner, and I'll show you the final corner connection. Okay, once we get those 40 stitches crocheted across on the last side, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to join with a slip stitch in that first single crochet of the perimeter round with a slip stitch, and then go ahead and give it a chain and a tug, and go ahead and cut the yarn and then pull that on through. And now we're ready to join our contrasting color, or the color that you're using to go around all of your squares, to join all the squares. So I'm going to go ahead and start in the upper right hand corner. You can start in any corner you desire, to be quite honest with you, but I'm just going to start in the upper right corner to be consistent. And when I join the yarn, I'm going to go ahead and make a corner. Well, if I turn the hook the right way, I can make a chain, and then I'm going to crochet a single crochet, chain 2, and then working over that yarn I just attached, a single crochet. And all that we're going to do all the way around is we're going to single crochet in each stitch. Make sure you don't forget that very first single crochet. So we're going to single crochet just in each stitch around. When we get to the corner, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in each chain 2 corner, and then when you come around to the end, we're going to join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet of the round and then fasten off. So after working all the way around the square, I'm going to join with a slip stitch to that very first stitch of the round, and then go ahead and give it a chain and a tug and clip a generous strand. And as I said in the first video, this is a good time to hide all these loose strands, and I'm just going to again give a quick tutorial on one possible way to do this using a yarn needle. And this is just in case some of you didn't see the first video. So I'm going to bring this down into my stitches, and notice that I'm hiding them on the back side, and I'm just going to simply run them under these single crochets that are of the same color, because you don't want to hide the darker colors, well, any color that's different really, under other colored yarns if possible, because a lot of times they will be seen. So I'm going to tug back a little bit after I've pulled on that, and then go ahead and cut that strand. Okay, so that is pretty well hidden. And let's take one more look at this. This is upside down, although it really doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have our square completed. And so for the project that I'll be making, I'm going to be making 3 more of these so that I have a total of 4. Well, I hope you enjoyed making square number 2 of Bonnie's mystery throw with me today. If you did, please comment below. And again, if you are visiting this from my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing and hit that thumbs up and the notification bell so that you don't miss further notifications for the rest of the crochet along. If this is the first video of the crochet along you have seen, let me give you a quick peek of square number 1 in video number 1, and that link will be in the video description below, so go ahead and check that out as well. And just like with video number 1, in order to continue, you're going to make 4 of these. Okay, so at this point, if you followed me through the first 2 weeks, you will have 4 of these and 4 of these. All right, I look forward to seeing you all next week. God bless. Bye-bye.